Joining us now from Kuala Lumpur is historian and social activist Olsi Jazexhi. Welcome to the program, sir. Well, today an Albanian newspaper leaked an Albanian police report directed to the U.S. Embassy in Tirana, where Albanian authorities complained to the Americans that the MKO has trafficked up to 400 Mujahedin to France. First of all, if you may tell us about this report that's been leaked, why it has been divulged now, and why are Albanian authorities complaining to the U.S. Embassy?
Albanian authorities are worried about what MEC is doing for some time. They came to Albania under the excuse that they needed protection, but since they're coming to Albania, the Mujahedeens have involved themselves in many criminal activities, starting from their terror against free media and the institutions of Albania. The Mujahedeens have become, in a way, the unofficial representatives of Albanian foreign ministry when it comes to the relations of Albania with many countries in the Middle East, and in particular with Iran and Iraq. And on the other hand, we have the European partners of Albania, the French, the Italians, the Greeks, who are very worried about their criminal activity. The Mujahedeens, they're trafficking probably Daesh terrorists to Europe. And the latest report by the Albanian police, which was leaked to the media, shows the worrying trend that is existing within this cult, that in a way it seems they are sending many of their young members to Europe. They are trafficking them. But these people who are being trafficked to Europe, they are not common people. They are highly trained foreign fighters, ex-terrorists, people who are trained on not only being suicide bombers, but also on using heavy weapons, tanks, helicopters, and what have you. And on the other hand, Italy is suffering a lot from Albanian mafia and drug trafficking. And now when we have high commanders of MEC, people who are very close to Maryam Rajavi and who are caught smuggling drugs to Italy, this is a major security threat for the European Union. And this police report, which was leaked to the media today, shows in a way, or probably our government want to put some pressure on the Americans who brought the Mujahedin and their army in Albania. So probably the Albanian government is trying to put some pressure on the Americans and to tell them to rein in the terrorist and criminal activity of the Mujahedin command.
Well, based on these reports, a senior MKO member has been arrested while trying to traffic drugs to Italy. Let's look at some of the details of that. On 18th of July 2021, Albanian police seized a consignment of drugs which, according to reports, two MKO senior officials, the names circulating were Narges Abishamci and Hasan Nayeb. They were trying to send this consignment of drugs to Italy. Who are these individuals? What can you tell us about them? And why would MKO be using such senior members to transport drugs to Europe?
Narges Abishamci, she is the sister-in-law of Maryam Rajavi. Otherwise, she is the sister of the first husband of Maryam Rajavi, Mehdi Abishamci, who heads the so-called Committee of NCRI against terrorism. The other person who was caught by Albanian police was Hasan Neybaga, who was an Iranian footballer who defected to Maryam Rajavi a few years ago. Now, this is very desperate and very sad for Maryam Rajavi to happen. Two of the most important people that she has in Albania, Narges Abishamci, she's like her sister, and Hasan, who was a well-known footballer in Iran, and Mac tried to portray him as a success story. Suddenly, both of them are being caught as drug traffickers. So this is a huge bad news for Mac, and shows the desperate situation of the cult. It seems that their Saudi or Emirati sponsors are probably not giving money to the Mujahedin anymore. And it seems that Maryam Rajavi is so desperate that she is using the closest of her associates to traffic drugs to Italy. And this is killing for the image of Rajavi and Israel and CIA, who have tried to pressure the Europeans and to sell the Europeans as, and Maryam Rajavi as the possible opposition to the Iranian government. This is a disaster, because the Europeans know that the Mujahideen, they are terrorists, and Israelis and Saudis and Americans are throwing so much money in the last decade to convince the Europeans that they have repented and they no longer do terrorism. But now what is happening? The right hand of Maryam Rajavi is being caught smuggling drugs. And this is a great disaster for the cult and shows the economic desperation of the cult.
Sure. And that's not all. Back in 2018, Albanian police, June of 2018 to be precise, Albanian police caught 7 illegal refugees from Syria and Kurdistan whom the MKO was trafficking into Europe. Why were the Albanian police worried about this issue? Who were these illegal refugees?
This is a great problem for Albanian authorities, but also for European Union. We have to know Albania is a NATO member country, and the security of Albania is very much interconnected with the security of the European Union. And this is a big question mark and headache for Albanian police. Albanian government is very worried that many of these Syrian and Kurdish refugees that MEC is smuggling from probably Turkey and Greece into Italy and France. We don't know who these people are. They can be jihadi fighters of Daesh and ISIS. They can be suicide bombers. They can be people who have committed huge human rights violations and crimes in Syria. And this is so worrying for the Albanian government, the Albanian police. And this leak, in a way, was sent out probably to the media by our police out of desperation, and in order to tell to the Americans and Israelis who brought the Mujahedin in Albania, first of all, to tell them, look, these people, they are endangering and destroying the image of Albania. A terrorist, a suicide bombing can happen in Europe because of the people that they are trafficking, and you have to do something to stop the madness that they are doing. Because we don't know who are these Syrians. I mean, these Syrians, when they are being trafficked by the Mujahedeens in Europe, I mean, they go underground. We don't know who they are. We don't know their IDs. And we do not know how many have they trafficked already in Europe. And can you imagine the nightmare that Italian, German, French security services, but even British, are undergoing in this moment, because they do not know what kind of terrorist Maryam Rajavi is bringing in Europe.
All right, thanks a lot.